How is your busy mind today? Are you filling the empty spaces and the boring moments with scrolling and noise? Avoiding things that need to be done or worked on, thought through? Why can't you just get it together? It is the end of the week, and your to-do list from Monday is still unfinished. These are all questions that I asked myself at 6 o'clock this morning. And I'm wondering if you have conversations with yourself, or if it's just me. I talk to myself all the time. My mind is constantly moving from one thing to the next. And sometimes I wonder if maybe I don't have ADHD, or if it's just menopause brain, or maybe I just have way too much going on in my life all the time. But I'm finding that it's hard for me to just settle in and slow down. And this morning I realized a lot of things. I realized some things about myself, and I thought I'd share. And I'm hoping you can relate. Maybe it's a chapter that we can get through a little easier, knowing we're in this together and what we're feeling is normal. At least I hope it's normal. By the way, I'm Anne. This is Life, Laughs, and Photographs. I talk about surviving midlife and seeking adventure. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've watched my videos before, welcome back. So back to those questions. I tend to ask myself questions all the time, sometimes out loud, and mostly in my head, and sometimes on the page as I journal early in the morning. But I had an aha moment this morning as I was running through the gamut of questions. I realized I don't slow down and quiet myself long enough to actually consider the questions and think through an answer. And maybe I'm not being very kind to myself. And that hit me. And this might make me sound completely bonkers, especially since I spend 90% of my time alone. I live alone and I work from a home office. But maybe I need to start being a better friend to myself. If I had a friend who came to me every day, who was needing some love and advice, but I was too busy for her. In fact, I didn't even acknowledge her. I didn't listen to her questions or notice her presence. I just continued to focus on my next task and then the next one. Or I busied myself and filled those empty spaces with scrolling on Instagram and looking at recipes, or cleaning my office, listening to an audiobook, emptying the dishwasher, going on to the next task, maybe listening to a podcast. All the while, I'm just ignoring her. So my friend, literally the person who was closest to me, is feeling more and more empty. But the questions don't stop. She just keeps asking questions. She's standing right here. And at times her voice is barely audible. And sometimes her voice is trembling. And other times it's angry. Why do I feel so anxious? My stomach has been a bundle of nerves all week, and I don't know why. Why can't I quiet my mind? Why can't I sit down and create? Why can't I get things done? What am I going to do next? Why do I feel so overwhelmed? Can you help me? Are you listening to me? Hello? I am hurting. Please stop ignoring me. And when I'm in a hurry and I'm juggling 1,000 things at once, when I drop something, I screw something up, I whack my elbow on the door frame because I've got my arms full of stuff and I'm dropping things on the floor, or I'm driving and I miss a turn. I'm not very nice to my friend then either. I tend to criticize myself, tell myself I'm dumb, or that I need to get my act together. And yeah, my inner self is listening all the time, listening to me criticize. So this morning I asked myself this question. If your inner self were your friend, a physical being who is sitting next to you right now, would you treat her the same way you're treating yourself? If your friend came to you in tears, with questions, looking for answers, would you turn your back on her? Yeah, my brain was doing some serious reflecting today. And yeah, I'm wondering, are you having some self-talk issues? Are you having some can't seem to quiet your mind issues? I don't like where this is going in my head, and I know I need to change things up a bit. So as someone who survived narcissistic abuse and who was codependent for most of her adult life, yeah, that's something I recently learned about myself. Like, how did I not have any idea for all those years? I wonder if maybe my brain needs to be rewired, because the way I was treated in my relationship is so much like how I'm treating myself right now. That's what I'm used to. That's what is normal. It's not normal, but it's how my program was working. And as I say that out loud, it's just weird. But I realized I'm treating myself that very same way. I am stonewalling myself. I'm giving myself the silent treatment. And it kind of aggravates me. You know, I lived in this quiet cocoon where I didn't even exist for 20 years. And that's tough. Even though I normalized it in the moment, looking back, I realized how much damage was done. Your existence is completely ignored. Messes with your head. And I think that's probably why I really struggle with solitude now. But my own brain is doing to me what I swore I'd never let another person do. So maybe I really am crazy. Oh my goodness, I'm crazy, aren't I? So, in the quiet cold of this February morning, I finally let the conversation happen. She talked, and I listened like a friend. I didn't have any music playing. There were no podcasts going. I didn't check email before my first cup of coffee. I just sat in the silence. And next to me on the bed was Parker, my dog, sound asleep. The cat was enjoying a morning bath. And I tried to be very mindful of my surroundings. I could hear Gizmo licking her paws and grooming her face. And a little sliver of sunlight was coming through the partially open curtains. And from down the hall, I could hear the ticking of the kitchen clock. And I could hear Charlie, my other cat, meowing. And I kind of wondered if maybe he doesn't talk to himself too. In fact, I know he does. And I picked up my pen and I started to journal. And it wasn't my typical early morning journal entry where I just brain dump everything onto the page and I get out all the things that need to be done for the day and the negativity and the frustration. Today, I allowed myself to do something that I haven't done in many years, and that was just to sit and do like a creative free write. I let my inner voice whisper onto the page. And I told myself that I was listening. And I let the conversation happen. And it probably got a little bit weird, but it actually went just like this. And I'm actually going to share with you what I wrote in my journal this morning, this little free writing. And I'm going to read it verbatim. I'm not going to edit anything. So this is just what I scribbled down. It's quiet this morning. No distractions. The lack of background noise is nice. Nice to see the sun this early in the day. The long dark season of winter will be over soon. This time of year, I'm reminded of how much I miss waking with the sunrise. To the sound of robins singing from somewhere beyond my backyard. There's not much singing in the winter. The world is quiet. But quiet is good, isn't it? It's good to be reminded to sit in the silence and listen for answers. Answers to what? Well, answers to all those questions you've been asking yourself. And you know what I think? Maybe the answer is this. There is no answer. Not in the way you need one, anyway. There is quiet and self-acceptance. There is acknowledging your own existence, appreciating and caring for the woman God created you to be. And just who did He create me to be? I'm not so sure of that anymore. Maybe that's because although you are still you, you have always been you, but now you are different, transformed. You're a different version of yourself. Much the way a monarch is a monarch. First a caterpillar, then quiet, then a butterfly. You went through your silent season, all self-protected and kept quiet in a cocoon. But now you have to spread your wings and fly. Wait, I have wings? Be confident. Open them up. Show off those colors and rise up. So I have to let others see my wings. What if they don't work right? And what if my flight is messy? What if I crash? Don't overthink it. Just do it. Fly from where you are to that spot up there. Imagine the view. Imagine what it will feel like to try something new. Flutter your wings. What does it feel like? What do you hear? It feels kind of uncertain and strange. I'm used to just creeping along and staying close to the ground, and I don't hear anything. Listen. Listen. Take flight. What do you hear? Oh, my wings. Every flutter is a soft whisper. Those whispers are yours. Your own quiet voice. It's okay to listen to it. Let it remind you of your own beautiful existence. Let it carry you higher from one bloom and experience to another. That sounds nice. I've ignored the whispers of my own voice for a long time. You know, they sound different now. Oh? Different how? They seem curious and not desperate. They're saying, I wonder what's over there. I bet the view is interesting. I wonder what the grass will feel like under my feet. I want to see what the light reflecting off my wings looks like. My wings. Flying and exploring and learning about new me sounds lovely, but my wings, what am I supposed to do if they get tired? That, my friend, is when you rest. Rest. I'm not sure I know how to do that. I don't want to be stuck again. I don't want to go back to being a silent, gooey mess in a cocoon, so dark and full of grief. That wasn't rest. That was transformation. You worked so hard to change your life, your existence. Being stuck and gooey and safe in that shell you created was necessary, but that season of your life is over. Rest is different. It's allowing yourself to feel the sun on your face, to breathe in the scent of wildflowers, to pause, to be grateful for who you are today. Fly high, rest often, enjoy the view. When the whisper from your own wings says you're tired, listen and rest. When the whisper says, let's explore, you fly. Trust your wings, my friend. Trust yourself. You can do this. You are safe. You are heard. You are free. Be present with yourself and just fly. So, yeah, much different than the usual brain dump. I shared that, and I shared all this and the craziness that's going on in my own head, because even though that voice whispers and asks a lot of questions, it still tells me that what I'm feeling is normal. I think it's normal. Gosh, if you think it's normal, leave a comment. If you can relate, leave a comment. Tell me I'm crazy, or tell me I'm not in this alone. But I think we forget to slow down and to listen, to appreciate the absolute peacefulness of being still, even if it's just for a minute. It's hard to listen to the whisper of our inner voice. So often it comes across as an inner critic. But it's in the silence that we can seek gratitude. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for the day. Even when the day is garbage, there's always something to be grateful for. And believe me, I have to remind myself of this every day, sometimes every hour of every day. Take time to appreciate where you've been in life, how far you've come. Transformation and change is hard. Letting go of your former self is really painful. It is overwhelming grief some days, knowing that the person you thought you were no longer exists. But once you're on the other side of that, it gets easier. It's not easy. I don't think life is supposed to be easy. But I also don't think that we should be doing things to ourselves or to our own thoughts that make it more difficult. So I encourage you to fly high, to rest often, to seek gratitude, and to keep dreaming. Whether you're 20 or 50 or 80 or beyond, keep learning to love yourself more. Keep learning how to fly. Thank you. Thank you if you stuck through to the end. Thank you. And I hope to see you in the next video.